Welcome to the best vineyard in the entire world, baby. Bodega Catena Zapata, which we're going to mispronounce many a times, was founded in 1902, and it was a pioneer in resurrecting the Malbec scene here in Argentina and finding out you can put these delicious little grapes at higher altitude to give it that sweet, sweet nectar. Mr. Nicholas Catena Zapata himself went to the Bordeaux region in the 1970s and brought over all that knowledge, all that wisdom, and then kicked off the absolute resurrection, pioneering, as I said, the Malbec scene in the 1980s. This vineyard won the best vineyard in the entire world for 2023, and we're just waiting on the harvest for this year's crop. So until that happens in 1 month's time, it is still holding that crown. As always, any questions in the old comments down below. Whilst you're down there, hit that subscribe button. Still en route to 3k subs, and baby, we have got a banger day lined up. From coming in at the top gate, you just feel you're in an area of absolute luxury. I said to Em, I feel like a little Bond villain coming up to this in the middle of absolutely nowhere. It's about 30 minutes outside the centre. Gorgeous setting. This is what I pictured when we thought we're coming to the Mendoza region. You just got rows and rows of obviously vineyards, and then obviously you've got the trees in the distance, very much reminding me of that scene in Gladiator or something from Tuscany. And then right at the top, you've got the hawks in the distance, the birds of prey, and this is where we're going to be doing our wine tasting in this Aztec themed little number. We've paid £75 per person for the tour, the tasting, and rumour on the circuit, the best Malbec in the entire globe. Question in the comments, hit the subscribe button. Oh baby, I'm excited for this one.
It looks like Squid Game.
Yo en Alemania y él en Estados Unidos. Pero somos fidanzados, no, novios?
Noivos. O nosso filho fala alemão. Ele estuda no colégio alemão, school alemão Brasil. Ele viaja para a Alemanha.
No, a mí no me gusta. No me gusta.
Não gosta.
No gosto, no.
Mas você mora na Alemanha, não?
Eu adoro samba.
Eu também.
Mas eu sou muito...
Put a little bit of oxygen and you're going to smell the wood. You can compare this Malbec with a Gulman because of the texture, the character, but especially because of the aroma. Let's go. We're going to enjoy the Malbec, and then we're going to make a toast together upstairs and make the competition.
And we're back to the start. Back where we begun. 5, 6, 7 wines deeper, a little bit merry. We've been salsering, sambering with the Brazilians, learning all about the old vineyard. We'll drop a little bit of knowledge, talk you through the wine tasting, and of course I do have the chief sommelier from the Mendoza region coming in to do a little segment. So we kicked off, there's a few different rooms. It is a little bit slow to start with. You learn about the family coming over from Italy in 1898. His wife originally left him, Nicola, for a tango dancer, and then he married the sister. It was absolute carnage to start with, second choice, but from then on the family started getting a little bit active. One, on having 3 kids, and 2, just growing that wine scene. There were 3 kids came from that original marriage, and 1 that I thought was the most flair, that called him the artist of wine. There's another daughter who went to the Harvard Medical School and now runs the old Pyramid Vineyard or Vineyard winery, whatever you want to say. And there's another that is a professor at the Oxford University. Again, just the things you love to see. Academic, love wine, love boozing, love having a bloody good time. The reason why it is an Aztec, no, not Aztec, a Mayan theme is that they went on a family trip to Guatemala. And for anyone that has not followed the adventure too long, Guatemala, one of my favourite countries of all time. I think joint top now with Australia and Japan. Phenomenal people, great place, but we do digress. So they went over there, saw the Mayan structure, fell in love with that Mayan history, and then thought, you know what, we'll build something that replicates that. There are 4 vineyards in the world. I thought this was really, really interesting actually, that open source their research, so similar to Musk with Tesla, and obviously if anyone is into the old code, the technical space, open sourcing your technology. Is there a detriment to you? Probably, but is it better for the scene, whether it's technology, whether it's wine, whatever it is? So there's 4 vineyards around the world that do that. And Louis Vuitton, which I thought was pretty left field, but that was, she was talking about 4 are obviously wine predominant, and then the other is on the old Moët scene. We had a little biology lesson in the middle, learning a little bit about cells, and learning that they were the first ever vineyard to put wine in, or I guess grapes in, or vineyards in, or vines in at high altitude at 1,500 meters. So lots of insight, lots of intel, lots of knowledge. However, it was a little bit slow to start with, if I'm a bit honest. It was more of a history lesson. Again, that's good, that's bad, depends what you're looking for. And then we took a turn. We went from a 5 out of 10 day to a straight 10 out of 10. I do have the chief sommelier, aka Emma King, taught me through the wine tasting. Just a little synopsis.
Wine tasting, yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, we've been to like a fair few like wine tours on our trip now, but to have like the music pairing was actually really interesting. I mean, it was advertised as wine and music, which I don't think I really maybe understood the concept at first, but once we were doing it, I thought it was amazing. It was really interesting on, yeah, like you can get cheese pairing, but music pairing, it was a really interesting concept. But it made sense. It was really interesting. And then what better way to end it than a little salsa class at the end, salsa dance.
Yeah, so the wines started flowing, and again, when you just, it's all about the environment to elevate what you're doing. So wine tasting, do you know what I mean? You give me a nice glass of wine, sat somewhere out in the sun, gorgeous. We're sat deep in a cellar, just filled with history and art and knowledge, and all the bottles around you just give that level of class. All about it. We tasted 4 wines down there, 1 white, 3 reds, and then we had a little, I'm going to say sparkling white at the end then?
Yeah.
Sparkling white at the end, all very, very nice. And again, if me and Emma are saying that as the old red wine drinkers normally, that should say somewhat of how good the wines were. For me, the best one was the first one. I'll overlay what all of them were, so now you know what we're talking about, because I cannot remember them off the top of my head. But the wines they have here, especially like the Sauvignons, the whites, they're so fresh, they're so crisp, they're so cold, and they just have undertones of 1 pineapple, 2 pear, and 3 just absolute naughty flavours running through them. So that was top draw. We learned a couple of things. So obviously we had the music pairings, and me and Em, like when we booked it, we just thought, oh, that was like, they just play some music in the background, but you had to listen to 2 songs and then drink the wine in 2 different ways. So way number 1 is where you get it in your mouth and you give it the old, what she was saying, swoosh, where you give it the old like that. And then the number 2 was like you hold your tongue as if it's like a lake, and then you balance the wine in the middle, and then yeah, you taste it that way with a different song. For me, I didn't know I was going to come on here today and say I'm a swoosh guy. So from now on, when I'm tasting wine, I'm going to give it a little swoosh, getting the old flavours into the old bones. Most of the wines, like the old Mendoza region, obviously cellar wines, so they are aged. Most of the ones we had today were about 18 months in French barrels. Absolutely top drawer. If you were looking for the best red wine, that would be the final one that we had, which was the Malbec. And she was saying it's one of the top ones, not only this vineyard, but across the entire world. So we started at the top. Me and Em thought we were novice wine drinkers, vineyard explorers. There's a guy on the tour today, Ukrainian lad, and he was like, yeah, this is the first vineyard I've ever come to. So he started at the absolute top, and that was a linear model 50% and a classical model 50%. I don't know what that means, but if you're watching this, maybe you're into wine and you can yeah, you can work out what it is. For me, sensational day. Oh, we have it here. Our friend. How you doing? Good day?
They are incredible. Do you need a hitchhike to go to the restaurant?
We booked a taxi at the top, so we're all good. We'll just walk.
You're going to die because of the sun. And the hot temperature.
The ginger, the northerner.
You need a hat, my dear, because you are so
I know.
Do you want to get into the top?
He's coming, he's here. I see
He's halfway down?
Yeah.
Oh, he's halfway down. Muchas gracias. Buen dia. Ciao. Grazie. I mean, that couldn't have been any better timing to summarise the day. That was the actual chief sommelier, not myself or so yeah, £75, try 5 wines. For me, if you were saying what is amazing, the tour itself, it's good to get the history, the knowledge. It's even better just to walk through the vineyards, walk through the vineyards, get the old wine tasting in the bones. If they did just a wine tasting and you could taste 10 wines, I would literally come back tomorrow and do that. Gorgeous wines, the best we've had in Mendoza / across the world, and that is why they're #1, baby. Questions in the old comments. Whilst you're down there, hit that subscribe button. We're back tomorrow. Guess what we're doing? It's another vineyard tour, yeah, baby. Taxi's here. Cheers, baby.